All right, so today we're going to talk about living in Florida, what to care about and what not to care about so much. I'm in a different location, as you can see. Wanted to give this a go with a new background, give you something live out on the town. This is actually not even out on the town, it's off of Boca Grande, and we're just down from the Boca Grande Pass where they're just starting to partake in the tarpon festivities out here. That's what brings all the folks running to this area is to get one of these trophy fish. So we did find out it's another $51 that you have to add to your saltwater license if you're going to try and bag one of these guys. But that's just part of the excitement that you're going to experience here in Southwest Florida, along with that gorgeous view. Look at that water. That is phenomenal. Anyway, we're going to be getting after next what to care about and what not to care about. Hey everybody, my name is Cunha. I'm a local real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, and if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video comes out, and get your search started now on the website, ournextfloridahome.com. Get in that, use the MLS like we do. I am getting calls from people every single day, and I absolutely love it. And if you're one of those people that has a specific question you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so I told you we're going to be talking about what to know and what to not care about. First thing I don't care about today is the weather. We're going to have a gorgeous day. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be in the high 80s, maybe 90. There's a breeze coming off the coast behind me. I don't know how the sound's going to come out, but we're giving it a roll. In any case, we're going to be talking about market things. We're going to be talking about, you might have been hearing a lot lately about recession and about foreclosures and all that other junk. But I'll tell you what I'm finding by reading all that junk like you are, is that there's no consistency to it. That's the biggest problem we have with this market, is nobody knows where it's going. And if they pretend that they do, don't listen to them. I'm not here to BS you. I never have been. So I'm telling you how I'm seeing it. Is the market a little slower right now? Possibly. I'm still getting calls all the time. Maybe we're not getting the trigger pulled as fast. There's more cash coming in the market because the rates don't matter to them. But the one thing that was kind of interesting when I was looking up the information, there's some websites that are giving you one side of the story in one moment, and a couple weeks later, it's a whole nother story. So how do you believe those sources? And that's where the problems come in. As far as a recession, obviously with pricing on things the way it is, yeah, anybody could say there's a recession coming, but what does that look like? How extreme is it? What's it going to affect? Is it affecting everything or just certain things? Too many questions. I'm not willing to dive into that. That hole is a little deeper than I want to get into, but I will address the foreclosure thing, because here's what you're not thinking about if you're thinking you're going to steal some foreclosures. A bank is a business. They want the most money they can get for the property. So don't think you're going to run out there and steal a foreclosure. You're not. The bank is going to price it according to what the market's doing, and you're going to pay that price. That's just the way it is. Competition will still be there. If a number of these would come out, there would probably be less competition per home, but unfortunately, Florida is probably the most sought after state right now, so getting into anything down here is going to be a challenge. I still recommend doing your due diligence, getting to the area you want to be in, drive around. I've got some clients still come in the area and don't even have an idea of where they want to be. Oh, somewhere between Sarasota and Marco. That's a big space. I can't help you in that whole space. We need to narrow it down. So in the narrowing down part, we're going to go through the numbers. I'm going to get you the comps. I'm going to tell you what makes sense. And please do me a huge favor. When you come in town, give me some notice ahead of time. This past week, I had 3 different couples come in and ask for my time the next day or the next few days. I would love to say yes. I do have business that's ongoing. I also have family. So there are things that will be in my schedule already. A little bit of lead time is a great thing to have, and then we'll go ahead and set up a plan that best suits you. All right, so when we talked about the potential recession, and obviously rates are climbing, and a lot of people do have those questions about what's the market going to do and how's that going to affect me. Well, it shouldn't affect you any worse than it has historically at other times when we've had this happen. There have been times that the rates have been much higher, but you know what? Homes were still purchased. People still need a place to live. And if you haven't heard, Southwest Florida is one of the most overpriced places in the United States for rent. So if you think you're going to come in the area and just rent for a little bit, good luck with that one. I'd rather get the mortgage and pay the higher rate for whatever period of time I have to, because I'm going to tell you your payment is still going to be lower than that rent. Now, one of the things that we're running into here, you've heard about the insurance, the lots of fraud and things going on here, but what I didn't even realize is that when these roof claims come in, 8% are actually claims that are paid. The other 79% go to litigation. Yeah, everything's being spent on the attorneys. They were looking at the numbers on this and found that 75% of litigation in insurances is in Florida. So you want to know why our insurance is so high? These damn lawyers are taking all the money that's supposed to go to the homeowners, because the homeowners literally get less than 10%. Tell me that's not pathetic. So what's going on? I don't know, but DeSantis, you may love him or hate him. I'm going to tell you, lots of people love him, and here's another reason why. He's putting steps in motion to fix this insurance issue. So they're digging in a little deeper, trying to find a solution and put some of this stuff to rest so you don't have to worry about it. Now, one of the things that I have been in opposition to in times past is writing a letter to the sellers. I felt like it was manipulation, and it may be in many cases, but Eric and Jennifer, you were successful doing what I wasn't even sure was working right now. And there's a reason why a letter works now better than it ever has. Do you know all those corporations I told you about that are coming in and buying homes? Do you know how many people are fed up with the corporations coming in and taking the homes? So now sellers are starting to say, hey, I want an end user. I want the homeowner. I want the person that's going to love and care for the home and actually needs the home, not the greedy corporation that's just trying to pad their pockets further. So in any case, Eric, Jennifer, congratulations. You were successful using that letter. And even when talking to the listing agent, I mentioned the letter and she said, oh yeah, include the letter because they want a family to get the house. So start writing those letters. One thing to be aware of in Fort Myers, hey, sorry about the little bit of rocking. Hopefully I don't get you seasick there. But one thing that's going on in Fort Myers, all this building is putting a whole nother strain on something else. And that is the water system. I just read that there are literally developments in process right now. They're either in the throes of the construction or they're going to get started. And they need to get what's called a specific permit. And what that permit is it's telling them that there's no guarantee they're going to supply water to that development once it's finished. They just don't know if they'll be able to. Tell me what that's going to do to the housing supply. So if you're one of those people thinking you're going to wait this out and see what happens and maybe come back and get a home later, I'm not sure that's such a great plan. Now, one of the other things that's going on here, aside from these waves, all right, I'm going to cut that out. Another thing that's going on here is the growth in Cape Coral is doing the same thing. They're now talking about widening Chiquita Boulevard. Now, it's not the whole boulevard. Anybody that's driven that sees it's 2 lanes each side with the median in the middle. And to break that up with all the traffic that's already there with construction, it's just going to be a nightmare. This is on the north end, all the way up towards Kismet, where it funnels down into 1 lane. They're going to widen that up to the intersection to allow that traffic to flow better up on the north end, because more and more people are moving to the north end, regardless of the well and septic, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. Regardless of that, they want the space, they want to be away from the craziness. So the place you're going to do that is in the northwest. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about that now, the well and septic. I'm just going to name a few pros and cons, and it's not something that should completely be taken off the table for you, because you're not getting the expenses of water and sewer. Water and sewer, not only do you have a monthly bill of at least $100, if you have a pool, count somewhere in the 200 plus range. But aside from that, you have an assessment, and anybody that's been in Cape Coral for any amount of time knows about the assessment. It's about $20,000. It's put on the tax roll for the property. It's paid off over 20 years, and it's going to be about $1,200 to $1,500 for the year to have that done. If you're up in the well and septic, you don't have that bill. None of that stuff's happening. You have a well system, and that system as a whole, a basic system, you're probably looking at maybe $4,000 or $5,000. If you want to get into a whole house reverse osmosis, and my builder highly recommends this, he has it on his own home, it's about $12,000, but that will give you, as he says, cleaner water than what the city gives you. It tastes better, it's better for your skin, it's better for everything that you're going to do around the house. It's also going to help keep the warranties on the home intact, because some builders that aren't using a whole home reverse osmosis, they can't guarantee that that home's going to function the way it's supposed to, running that water through the system. So get your whole home reverse osmosis if you're going to live in the Northwest or Northeast on well and septic. Outside of that septic system, you have to watch what you're putting into the toilets and sinks, because that can easily throw off the balance of a septic system, and now you're going to be out there either having it pumped out, or you're going to have that overflow into your showers and other places, which not too nice. As far as maintaining the system, just get on a maintenance routine with a local well and septic company. I want to say Gator Plumbing, Gator Septic, something like that for the septic system, and H2O is really good for the well system. They can take care of all your needs. All right, so another one of the things that you need to know about Florida, and I just had a question the other day, I can't remember who the heck asked me this, but they're asking about putting in fruit trees in their yard. They were super excited about that, and then I proceeded to point out the mango tree next door. And you can do lemons, limes, whatever you want down here. There's papayas. So you pick what you want to put in. I also ran by these orchids the other day that an owner had put off of a palm tree. And I'm going to tell you what, this is just a gorgeous sight to see randomly through a neighborhood. And you're not going to see that where I'm from in Pennsylvania. It won't exist. This is Florida. This is what you can have in your yard. And this is why people love being here, especially if you're a green thumb. Now that Margaritaville that's going in down on Fort Myers Beach, do you know what they're doing next? There's a Margaritaville themed island that's being established. Lofton Island. It sits right off of downtown Fort Myers, about 9.3 acres, and they're going to have a hotel. They're going to have 50 boat slips. They're going to have a restaurant. Tell me this place isn't going to get packed. Yeah, it's right on the river, so the water's going to be river water. It might be a little darker than some of the other areas. It's not going to look like the water behind me, but I will tell you that that location on the water, I'm imagining they're going to have some kind of water taxi as well, because all the people that are in the downtown area, they want to just get out there and experience it. So that's what's coming to our area sometime in the next, I think it's a year and a half. I think 2024 might be when they were thinking of having it finished, but be on the lookout for that. You might have heard about the blue-green algae, and yes, we're starting to see some of it filter into the area. It's normally coming down the river and it's going into the canal systems that are right there off the river, but there is something they can do about it. We just haven't gotten the go-ahead to have it installed. They're bubblers, and what these are is they're tubes that get put down on the bottom of the canals, and they just send oxygen through that tube, bubbles up to the surface, and keeps the algae from going up into the canals. If they can get approval for this, you might see that you have a much cleaner canal in the coming months. Now, if you're like me, and I'm not saying I do this all the time, but if you like to drive fast or get a little impatient with people, especially the ones that ride in that left lane, you know how much of a pet peeve that is. The police are now establishing a task force to take care of aggressive drivers. So if you're one of those aggressive drivers, take a chill pill. I'm not going to encourage you to take a drink, maybe save that for when you get home, but do whatever you have to chill out, because the police are going to be out in force. I saw one, a motorcycle policeman today had somebody pulled over. I saw a couple other police officers in the morning rush hour off the side of the road waiting to get their next victim. So they are out, and you need to be careful. And the last thing I'm going to mention is because of my current situation. I'm out here today specifically because I saw the weather was going to be sunny. It was going to be beautiful all day long, no storms in the forecast. So what's the best time to go out when you don't have a worry about running away from a storm or anything else? So one thing to know about storms, especially if you're boating, they move in quickly. They're not moving in from any specific direction. I'm getting wind from my back right now from the west, but that storm could develop in the east and push its way in, and you're trapped. And some of these storms, we saw the other day, I think it was 162 lightning strikes in one area within a very short period of time. So it is dangerous. It can get real nasty real quick, and you don't want to be caught in a situation you can't get out of. So prepare well. All right, so that's a little bit more about living in Florida, the things you need to know, and I hope that this was helpful to you. You can also check out one of these other videos up above. And if you have a specific question for me, like always, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.